Doug Karsch, Scott Anderson, 97.1, talking Lions right out of the gate here. Preseason game tomorrow, final roster spots are up in the air. We are looking for the player you want to see go out and earn a spot tomorrow in Indy. And you know what? I mean, it's a drivable game. We might get some Lions fans there. There were certainly Lions fans down in Cincinnati. It's always intriguing to see how our fan base travels for preseason games. Nice that the two preseason games were drivable. And it's always an opportunity to see a facsimile of Lions football in the preseason for a sometimes affordable price relative to the regular season. You typically don't see the star players, and that's fine. Dan Campbell emphasizing this week how much he wants to get this team ready for New Orleans and is using this game as a bit of a springboard to get them ready for New Orleans, which is hard to do when you don't play your starters in the preseason. You're kind of set. You're kind of setting yourself up for a slow start, right? And we've seen it in the past. But at the end of the day, he's going to do whatever he can so they don't have a slow start, in spite of the fact that so many regulars haven't taken one live snap. And they also didn't have the joint practices, which is really interesting. Because I think this year, more than any previous year, more players have sat out the preseason and no joint practices. Wonder if this plan's going to work.
Well, the reasoning that they like the no joint practices is because and this makes sense to me in a way. Because the Lions are so talented at different position groups, and they have, whatever it is, 6 or 7 of the top 100 players in the NFL, according to NFL.com.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunity to have your first unit match up against those players and get extraordinary, valuable reps,
right,
it means something. So when you have a rookie right tackle like Blake Miller, who's lining up opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, the whole sharpening iron thing, whatever. I hate the phrase, but you're going to get better when you go against better competition for sure. And he's not alone there, and you're bringing in a new center, and then he got hurt, unfortunately, but now it's, okay, baptism by fire, Juice Scruggs, get in there, and now you're working against Lee McNeil and Tyleik Williams and others, and okay, great. You've got running backs that have to prepare to block linebackers that are coming in. There's the defensive backs are getting extraordinarily valuable reps against Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta now that he's back at practice, and everyone's got to try to stop Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, you're learning some great lessons. If you're not learning about setting the edge with a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs so you don't get burned on the outside, then you're not going to learn ever. So maybe this is going to pay off. I hope it does.
Okay, let's get to your texts. We did 10 texts. Who do you want to see show out tonight and make the team? 248-539-9797. Trevor writes in, Luke Altmaier, I think he's a project guy with potential. I think Luke Altmaier is a interesting investment if they've got a spot for QB3. My suspicion is that if Luke Altmaier gets waived, he'll be on the practice squad, then nobody will pick him up. I am not comfortable with Luke Altmaier as the primary backup yet, but Luke Altmaier, QB3, Trevor, I'm on board.
Yeah, I think the Lions have done a good job of being able to get by with 2 on the roster, and then the third one is practice squad. I don't know if Luke Altmaier is going to make any GM in the NFL say, ooh, I got to have him as my second quarterback.
I think you're right.
So, yeah. I mean, as much as I want him to make the roster, I think he'll be on the practice squad. I don't think he's going to get picked up by anybody else to be on their 53.
Scotty writes in, hey, guys, I really want Joe Bocci to make this team. I loved him at Michigan State. I think he's got a lot of heart, and he has a Dan Campbell player in mind. And here's another one, Joe Bocci. We need a guy to show out on special teams and go green. That's from Chuck in Clinton Township.
Well, he has impressed on special teams already. He does obviously have valuable experience as a linebacker as well, and he has done nothing to dissuade anybody from saying he shouldn't be on the roster. It looks like he's got a really good chance of making it.
Marco writes in, I want to see Tesla make the roster. He has a lot of raw talent and deserves another look. Weird preseason for him. 2 drops, including one that led to an interception against Cincinnati. Then he played whatever it was, 30 snaps in game 2 against the Commanders and got no targets. Weird preseason for Isaac Tesla. I think enthusiasm for Tesla's potential has taken a bit of a hit.
Well, I think initially it did, and then maybe a few days after that first game, it didn't sound like things are going well, but everything I've read lately seems to indicate that he's back on track, and he's making catches, and there was a scrimmage yesterday. He made some plays in that, so...
But does he need a decent game, not just practices? Do you think he needs something to show? I don't think he's going to get cut by any means, but
right.
I will say this. Dan Campbell himself said earlier this year during training camp that he was basically telling players, you're not guaranteed a spot. You got to go out there and earn your spot. I feel like a guy like Tesla shouldn't feel like, well, I've got my spot. You know, like they're not going to cut me. I just got drafted. They move up for... No, man, you still got to go out there and earn it. And I feel like that's the message. Getting back to grit, no hype. Here's just the schedule, right? Everyone go out there and earn your spot. And so, although I think he's pretty safe, show me something this weekend.
I think you're right.
Catch the ball. That's it, right? Just catch the ball.
Why didn't he get a target in week 2? They might have called plays for him that we never saw. You know, either he wasn't open or there's a botched exchange or quarterback sack before the play developed. Or they were just showcasing other players. Like I think it's not insignificant that there were 26 snaps for Jackson Meeks and he got 6 targets. Next text, Rob says Skylar Gill-Howard has to make this team. I think it's a pretty safe bet that he will. MRK in New Baltimore says Sailors looks like the return guy. Yep, and he's made plays on offense too. I want Rakestraw to earn a spot on this team. That's from Joe and Warren. And Joe, that's exactly who I wanted. I was saying, I want Ennis Rakestraw to go out and leave no doubt. If he's in there for 2 quarters, every snap on the field, the ball's thrown his way, show the talent that you had out of Missouri that hasn't been showcased nearly enough. You know how useful to be if Ennis Rakestraw lives up to his billing?
It'd be huge.
Yeah.
This team, you have to have healthy defensive backs. And my biggest concern with him is he's just never going to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. That it's always going to be him dealing with something. And hopefully that's not going to be the case. But, I mean, through 2 games, he's gotten dinged up in each of the games. Obviously, the first 2 years of his career, he's hardly played because of injuries. Stay healthy. Because I do think there's clearly talent there. You're not drafted in the second round on a lark. You know, there was a reason he was taken. So I'm hopeful that he can, and yet I'll be surprised if he does.
That he stays healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it feels like a bonus that, you know, there are guys you are counting on, and he's not a player that I'm really necessarily counting on. But the idea that that's why I picked him. I want him to go out and leave no doubt tomorrow.
He hasn't been in the league long enough where you start looking at him like a Davenport, like, okay, whatever. He's on the roster. He's going to play until he's hurt, and then he's going to get hurt, and we're just going to deal with it.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's trending in that direction.
Jerry writes in, is Rodrigo on the bubble at all? I hope not. I don't suspect he is. But if I started forced to list surprise cuts, and I had to come up with 5 names, it's hard. We did this a couple days ago because you're trying to, okay, who would be surprising if they got cut? And there usually is a surprise cut or two.
Usually, yeah.
If you're forced to do it, he ends up on my list. I don't think he's going to get cut.
But I don't think he gets cut.
But if Jimmy Rolder comes back healthy, they signed Devin White. They've obviously got Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes. But I just don't foresee it.
Well, that's 4, and I think they're keeping at least 5 linebackers.
Probably.
Maybe 6.
Everybody's projection, he's in it.
Yeah.
But if they only keep 4 linebackers, which they won't.
Well, and Rolder is a big question. They're hopeful that they don't have to put him on any kind of list so that he can get healthy enough, and I guess he's getting real close to coming back.
Dennis and Brighton, I'd like to see Jackson Meeks make the squad. He seems to produce whenever he gets an opportunity. The fact that he's converted to the tight end position makes it even more impressive. Well, that's what we're going to talk about as the day goes on. To me, it's a no-brainer that he makes a team. He's on my 53, man, and it's the versatility that he brings to the table. He's converted to tight end and made plays at tight end. He can play wide receiver, and he made an impact on special teams the last game.
Well, it begs the question: are you carrying 3 or 4 tight ends?
Yep.
If you're carrying 3, he's probably not there, or is he there? Yeah, I mean, Ty Conklin is the 3rd tight end, so I'm not sure.
248-539-9797. We got open lines. We'll talk about roster as the day goes on. We'll talk some Tarek Skubal as well. Jason Garrett of NBC Sports, an NFL analyst, former coach, set to join us at 10:30 here on Karsch and Anderson on 97.1.